said faslun. He said babun najasat. If we look at itself is the plural of the word najasa. So we have najasa, then we have najasat. So we have babun najasat, the chapter regarding issues of impurities, najasat. So it will be appropriate to briefly review what does najasa mean. What does najasa mean? The author of Al-Wajiz fi fiqh sunnati wal kitab al-aziz, he mentioned an-najasa to mean, he said, hiya kullu shay'in yastaqdhiruhu ahlu at-taba'i as-salima. Kullu shay'in yastaqdhiruhu ahlu at-taba'i as-salima. He says that najasa is everything that people who still have sound natural instinct, people who are still sound in their natural dispositions, yastaqdhiruna, they will dislike it, they consider it as filthy. What those who still retain their natural instincts consider as death. يستقذرونه ويتحفظونه عنه أو يتحفظون عنه, and they keep away from it, they avoid it. ويغسلون الثياب إذا أصابهم, and when it touches their clothes, they wash the clothes. It says كالعذرة والبول, like physics and urine. ما يستقذرونه كل شيء يستقذره أهل الطبائع السليمة, everything that people of sound natural instinct. The reason why he says sound natural instinct is that some people in their instincts are diseased. I give you an example. People of sound natural instincts will only find sexual gratification in the opposite sex, in that a man should marry a woman or that a woman should marry a man. But people of diseased and sick natural instincts, will want to say they rather prefer a man. This is a warped instinct. It's diseased, it's not sound, it's not salima. So they say, no, they want it naturally. You say, oh, you are not salim. Your fitra is not salima, mu'awwaja. It is cobbly, it's not straight. So some people have taba'i' mu'awwaja. They have natures that are bent from being natural. So likewise, somebody can tell you that he likes to cook human physics. He adds some pepper and maggi and it makes a good soup. So we say such individuals do not retain their natural instinct. Their natural instinct is warped, diseased natural instinct. But people, like he says, Ahlu Taba'i' Salima, people who have Taba'i' from Tabi'a, nature, their nature is still sound, Yastakziruna. They consider it as death. Just like we mentioned, if a person says he likes human physics, he likes to add pepper and maggi and make a good soup, people of sound natural instinct will say, no, this is death, this is impurity you are consuming. So, وَيَتَحَفَّظُونَ عَنْهُ, they keep away from it. Not just that they will not eat it, they keep away, they avoid it. They don't want it to touch their bodies. وَيَغْسِلُونَ الثِّيَابَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمْ. And when that najis or najasa touches their skin or their bodies, يَغْسِلُونَ الثِّيَابَ or يَغْسِلُونَ الثِّيَابَ. They wash their clothes. They wash it off. These people have At-Taba'i'u as-Salima. So he gave two examples like Al-Azira and Al-Bawl, physics and urine. But this definition is defective. This definition is defective. Others have cited it also, like the author of Al-Lubab, Shaykh Muhammad Subhi Hassan Hallaq. It's defective definition. Because it is not everything that people of sound natural instinct consider as dirty that is actually najis or najasa in the Sharia. I give you an example. Phlegm. Mucus. We blow from the nose. People of natural instinct, do they want to have it on their bodies? When they have it on their bodies, what do? They wash it off, they rub it off, they clean it off. In fact, people feel embarrassed being seen expelling or expectorating it from their mouths. And they are not people of natural instincts. In fact, those who don't find disturbance with it may not be said to be upon natural instincts. So ulama say, it is not everything that the people of Al-Tabi'atu Salima consider as dirt that is dirty, that is najasa. I give you another example. The urine of camels. If not that we have evidence from the Sharia that it is tahirun, ordinarily people may want to feel somehow about it. Urine of camels. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some people came to accept Islam in Medina with him. The hadith occurs in Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Anas ibn Malik reports the hadith. The Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam welcomed them in Medina. And when they stayed for some time, they started feeling hungry and sick. So the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam ordered that they should start drinking the urine of the camels from Zakah. They drank from this urine. They felt very comfortable and healthy. And they asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that they want to return to their city. When they were going, the messenger sent some people to teach them Islam in their town. They killed those people and ran away. So information got to the messenger alayhi salatu wasalam that they had done that. He sent for them. Go get them. The point of reference in that hadith has been mentioned. The Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam gave them the urine of camels to drink and the laban of camels, the milk of camels and the lab and the bowl of camels to drink. This is something that ordinarily we may feel somehow about. We may consider it dirty, but the Sharia makes us understand that it is not dirty. فَلَيْسَ كُلُّ مَا يَسْتَقْذِرُهُ أَهَلُ الطَّبَائِعِ السَّلِيمَةِ تُعْتَبَرُ نَجَاسَةً. So it is not everything that people of Tabi'ah Salima, natural, sound, natural instincts consider as dirt that is najasa. It is not. I have chosen to start from it because many of the brothers depend on a book like this. And people tend to take every of what they say in such books, hook, line, and sinker, without looking at other sources. And when they hear opinions from other sources, they find it strange. And they like even to fight those who have those opinions. It is wrong. Nobody is right on every occasion. So in this definition, it is a wrong definition. Shaykh Siddiq Hassan Khan also mentioned that definition. In fact, the author of Al-Wajiz quoted it from him. People quote that definition, but it is wrong. May Allah protect us. The author of Fiqh Sunnah, what's his name? Shaykh Sayyid Sabiq. He's an Egyptian sheikh, very elderly and learned. He defined al-najasa. He says they are al-qadharat, the debts, allati yajibu ala al-muslimi an yatanazzaha anha. Al-qadharat allati yajibu ala al-muslim an yatanazzaha anha. He said they are debts, they are filths, impurities. Yajibu ala al-muslim an yatanazzaha anha. It is that are obligatory for the Muslim to avoid. Yatanazzah. He must avoid them. He must not touch them. When they touch him, he must clean himself. Yajibu alayhi. So he gave a ruling of Sharia. It is obligatory in the Sharia on the Muslim an yatanazzaha an-najasat, that he keeps away from these things. He says, rahimahullah, وَيَغْسِلَ مَا أَصَابَهُ مِنْهَا. And if any of these qadarat, these filths that touch his clothes, يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِ أَنْ يَغْسِلَ الثَّوْبِ. It is obligatory upon him to wash that place. So he placed it on the Sharia. Those things that are obligatory according to the Sharia for us to keep away from, which would mean if the Sharia legislates to be najis, to be obligatory on us to remove, we must remove it. He has not based the ruling of najasat on individuals. He has based it upon the rulings of the Sharia. So najasat are those things, like he says, rahimahullah, yajibu ala al-muslimi an yatanazzaha anha, that are obligatory upon the Muslim to keep away from. وَيَغْسِلَ مَا أَصَابَهُ مِنْهَا. It is also obligatory on him, this Muslim, to wash those things when they touch him, or when they touch his clothes, or when they touch the place upon which he performs worship. So najasat ma yajibu ala al-muslim an yatanazzaha anha. Najasat are those things that are obligatory upon the Muslim to keep away from. The debts, the filth, impurities, that the Sharia makes it obligatory on the Muslim, you must keep away from these things. Others amongst the ulama, the author of Sahih Fiqh Sunnah, he gave a similar definition. Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen in his Sharh of Zad al-Mustaqni, Sharh al-Mumti', he gave a similar definition. Many of the ulama also gave a similar definition. That najasat are those things the Sharia considers as obligatory on us to remove. Meaning that when an individual does not remove najasa from himself, he will be sinning. He will be predisposing himself to punishment from Allah. A quick example before we continue, although we'll still come back to that hadith, is the hadith of Ibn Abbas. When the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam told us that two people were being punished in the grave, we remember that the second one was being punished because he did not choose to la yatanazzaha, la yastatiru anil bawl. He did not choose to keep himself away from what? From urine. So you see, najis or najasa is something that when you don't keep away from, the individual is liable to be punished by Allah. Not keeping away from najasa is a sin. Allowing najasa to be on you incurs the wrath of Allah on the individual. So you keep away from najis. So when he urinates, he does not want the urine to touch him. When he defecates, he does not want the feces to touch him. Likewise, he deals with other issues of najis, like damul hayd. He does not want the menstrual blood to touch him, because it is a sin that he touches him. And when he touches him, he quickly removes it. It is a sin that he retains it on his body. It is obligatory on him that when he touches it, he keeps it away quickly from him. So these are najasat. Ma yajibu ala al-muslimi an yatanazzaha anha. وَأَنْ يَغْسِلَ ثَوْبَهُ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُ. When it touches him, he must wash his clothes. When he touches his body, he keeps away from it as soon as possible. These are najasat. So it means ulama have three ways of deducing najasat from hadith. Because now we don't have a choice. We have to come back to the Quran and hadith to know what is najasa. We say najasa are those things that the Sharia has made obligatory on us to keep away from. So if we want to now specify those things, where will we get them from? Of course, from the Quran and hadith. And it will mean that whatever the Quran and the hadith do not declare as najis, we will not consider them as najis. Nothing will be najis except what the Sharia considers as najis. Why? We say najis or najasa, ma yajibu ala al-muslimi an yatanazzaha an. What is obligatory on the Muslim to keep away from. So how will the Muslim know what is obligatory on him to keep away from? Allah will tell him, the Prophet will tell him. And those ones that they have not told him to keep away from, he must not consider them as what? Najasa. There are many examples. Even though you don't like it. If you walk on the street, if you mix clay and water and you sprinkle it on somebody, is it a sin that it remains on his body? It's not a sin. But he does not like to keep it. He goes and cleans it off. He is making nazafa. If it remains on his body and he performs salah, he has salah and he has not sinned. But if it were najis or najasa, as soon as it touches his body, he looks for a way of removing it. And then when he prays with it, ala sahih min aqwali ahli al-ilm, based upon the correct opinion, inshallah, amongst the ulama, is that he has salah, but he's sinning while on salah. Because some of the ulama hold that when an individual has najis on him and performs salah, the salah is invalid. But the correct thing, inshallah, is that the salah is valid, but he is sinning while on the salah. We will come back to these issues, inshallah. We are just saying that najasa are those things that the Muslim must keep away from. And we can only know them from the sources of Islam, from the Quran and from the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. How? One of those ways is that the Sharia itself can expressly say that so and so is najis or rijs or riks. As in the case with one of the issues we'll come to, inshallah. Rawth ma la yu'kalu lahmuhu. The physics of an animal that is prohibited for us to eat, like the donkey. The dung of a donkey. Dung. Rawth. It is najasa. The Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam regarding it clearly said, فَإِنَّهُ رِكْسٌ. In another riwayah it says, فَإِنَّهُ رِجْسٌ. He said it is riksun or rijsun, that is najis. So when the Sharia expressly states something is najis, it is najis. That is one way of recognizing an-najasat from nusus al-shari'iyah. The second way is that the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam will command that it should be washed. Wash it now. Since it must not stay with him, so he will make washing it obligatory. Wash it. So we'll see examples, like he mentioned regarding Damul Hayd. He said they should wash it. We'll come back to it. And he also mentioned that regarding Bawlul Ghulam, the urine of a young boy, the child, newborn. We'll come back to it, inshallah. So the second way is أن يأمر بغسله النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam orders that it should be washed now, or that it should be rubbed on the sand, like he mentioned of other najasat. He says, إذا وطئ أحدكم بنعله الأذى He says, فَالتُّرَابِ أو فَطَهُورُهُ التُّرَابِ. The way of purifying it is to do what? The sand. So if you match a step with your shoes on physics, for example, what is obligatory on you is to do what? You rub it on the ground. So the messenger said, rub it on the ground. So that is an order that you must remove it. Go. And we said that najasat is ma yajibu ala al-muslim an yatanazzaha. What is obligatory on the Muslim to remove? So if the Prophet says, remove it, alayhi salatu wasalam, then it becomes obligatory on you to do what? To remove it. That is the second way. So when he says, remove so, we know he's telling us that that thing is what? Najasa. A third way that the ulama employ to deduce that something is najasa is that he will mention a sin connected to keeping it with you. Like we mentioned in the hadith of Ibn Abbas, that an individual was being punished because there was regularly urine on his body. That shows that it was a sin for him to do what? To keep urine on his body. يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِ أَنْ يَتَنَزَّهَ مِنَ الْبَوْلِ. So 3 ways. Either the Sharia expressly states that so and so is najasa. We know it is najasa. Or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Quran says wash it or clean it. We know because it is najasa. Or he says if it is on your body you are committing a sin. Oh, we know because it is najasa. 3 ways. So the text will be mentioning, inshallah, will be around these 3 things. Either telling us to wash, or telling us to rub on the ground, or telling us don't near it, don't allow it to touch you, or something like this. Or telling us that the one who does it is committing a sin, or that the messenger himself is washing it. They say, oh, you wash it. Say, I'm washing. You have to wash it. We know that those things are najasat. We too must wash them when they touch us, when they touch our clothes, and we must also avoid them. Since it is obligatory for us to wash them, it means we must avoid them. So these are najasat in the Sharia. So he says babun najasat. So najasat is what we just explained. He says faslun, a section. He divided this chapter into 2 sections. Faslun, the next one we say faslun. But one of the ulama says faslun fi anwa'in najasat. This is a section regarding the different types of najasat. He will now be listing the najasat to us, one after the other. Faslun fi anwa'in najasat. So he says one najasat yani ma dalla dalil ash-shar'i ala najasatiha. One najasat, those things that the Sharia shows, proves that they are najasa, they are these things that he wants to list. He will enlist them. He says, hiya gha'itul insan. The first najis or najasa that he mentioned, he says, gha'itul insan, gha'itul adami, human physics. Humans. So it means whether a little born, a child, a girl, a boy, a man, a woman, grow, old, young, everything that human beings exhume that is solid from their anus, that is called physics, for all sections, all groups of human beings, is najasa. Ga'itul insan is najasa. So it means we'll be looking for the evidence that says ga'itul insan is najasa. That's why it says wa ga'itul insan mutlaqan, all kinds of human beings. Ga'itul insan mutlaqan, all sections of human beings, generally speaking. Every physics, bubu bekata najasa ni. Every physics is najasa. Whether of a young boy, whether of a young girl, whether because of diarrhea or cholera or whatever, don't say, oh, this one is watery, the other one is solid. Once you say this is physics, it is najasa. So it says mutlaqan, generally speaking, it's najasa. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, إِذَا وَطِئَ أَحَدُكُمْ بِنَعْلِهِ. We mentioned this hadith. إِذَا وَطِئَ أَحَدُكُمْ بِنَعْلِهِ الْأَذَى. If anyone uses or touches, presses on as it walks, he touches with his shoes al-adha, physics. People say al-adha is physics in this hadith. Many ulama use this hadith as evidence that the human physics is najasa, because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, فَإِنَّ التُّرَابَ لَهُ طَهُورٌ فَإِنَّ التُّرَابَ لَهُ طَهُورٌ. The way to purify it is by rubbing it on the ground. So anybody who matches physics will rub it on the ground, meaning that physics is what? Najasa. But the fact is that al-adha is not restricted to physics alone. Every dirty thing is called adha. So it is not categoric evidence. The evidence is not absolute. Because adha could mean physics, it could mean urine, it could mean any other thing. So why do you insist that it is physics? It may not be physics. It may not be physics. Al-adha idha wati'a ahdukum bi na'lihi al-adha. Al-adha could mean any other thing that is dirty or impure. So you would ask me, what then do we employ as evidence that gha'itul insan is najasa? Because every najasa must have dalil before we accept that it is a najasa. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, إِذَا ذَهَبَ أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى الْغَائِطِ إِذَا ذَهَبَ أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى الْغَائِطِ. When any of you goes to make physics, defecate, إِذَا ذَهَبَ أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى الْغَائِطِ. When you go into the bush for ga'it, we know what ga'it is now. So this is nas لِلْغَائِطِ فَلْيَذْهَبْ مَعَهُ بِثَلَاثَةِ أَحْجَارٍ. Let him go with 3 pebbles. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Says, يَسْتَطِيبُ بِهِنَّ. He will employ them to clean up himself. فَإِنَّهَا تُجْزِئُهُ أَنْهُ. Because those 3 pebbles will suffice him cleaning it. It says, فَلْيَذْهَبْ. This is the order. So let him go with 3 pebbles. What he orders us to make in ga'it here is what is referred to as al-istijmar. Istinja could mean cleaning both front and back. Istinja is when we clean our frontal area and the back using either water or stones or whatever can remove the najasa from it. This is istinja. Al-istinja'u bil-ma. The istinja could be with water. It could al-istinja bil-ahjar. It could also be with stones. That is what is also referred to as what? Al-istijmar. That is, use of pebbles to clean yourself. It can also be referred to as al-istitab. Cleaning yourself with leaves. Because you can also use leaves to clean it up. So here the messenger orders that it should be cleaned. That is evidence that ga'it is what? Najasa. The second evidence that says ga'itul insan is najasa is al-ijma'. Al-ijma'. Al-Imam Ibn Rushd, he has a book, Bidayatul Mujtahid. He cites in it that bil ijma' gha'itul insan gha'itul adami. The physics of human beings are what? Najasa. So 2 things, the hadith and what? Ijma'. You know, in fiqh, in the sharia, the order of evidence, we have Quran, we have Sunnah, we have Ijma', we have Qiyas al-Sahih or Salim and others. Bil ijma'. But that ijma is mustanad. It's an ijma that has an evidence in the Quran and the Sunnah. But the direct, clear-cut evidence is this evidence. إِذَا ذَهَبَ أَحَدُكُمْ لِلْغَائِطِ. When you go for physics, hold something to clean it, to clean yourself. So that statement is hujjah, inshallah, that ga'itul insan is najasa. That hadith occurs in Sunan Abi Dawud, Sunan Nasai. Al-Imam Ahmad also reports it in his Musnad, and Al-Imam Daraqutni mentions it to be sahih. Likewise, Al-Imam Al-Nawawi, Shaykh Al-Albani mentions it to be Hasan, and Shaykh Mashhur Hasan Al-Salman also mentions it to be Hasan. So, Ghaitul Insan Mutlaqan is Najasa. The second thing the Shaykh mentioned, he says, Wan Najasat, here Ghaitul Insan Mutlaqan. Generally speaking, human physics are what? Najasa. And the evidence is that the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam said, إِذَا ذَهَبَ أَحْدُكُمْ إِلَى الْغَائِطِ. When any of you goes to defecate, فَلْيَذْهَبْ بِثَلَاثَةِ أَحْجَارٍ. Let him go with 3 pebbles, so with which he will clean himself. And then the second evidence is إِذَا وَطِئَ أَحَدُكُمُ الْأَذَى. Scholars have used it, but it is not absolute, because al-adha could mean other than physics. The third evidence is al-ijma, consensus of ulama that ga'itul insan, human physics, is what? Najasa. So he says, one najasat here ga'itul insan mutlaqan. He says, wa bawluhu illa dhakar al-radi'. Wa bawluhu yani bawlul insan. He says, wa bawluhu illa dhakar al-radi'. Another thing that is also najasa is bawluhu, human urine, the urine of human beings. It says illa dhakar al-radi', except a little young boy, lam ya'kul ta'aman, that had never eaten any food. It means Al-Imam Al-Shawkani rahimahullah, who wrote this text, is of the view that a little young boy who has not eaten any kind of food apart from breast milk, the urine of that little young boy is not najis, because it says human beings except the little young boy, illa dhakar al-radi, except the boy, male child, male newborn, male infant. Infant is the correct word. The male infant that is still only suckling. We'll come back to it, we'll discuss it better. It says except him. So it means ulama, because someone that say no, all human beings, all our urine, mutlaqan also, like the physics, no exception, all human urine, and this is the correct view. All human urine is najasa. Hold it. Some of the ulama, like Al-Imam Ibn Abdul Barr, he mentioned from Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i in his book Al-Istidhkar, that Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i is of the opinion that the urine of children, boys, that have not eaten any other food except breast milk, that their urine is not najasa. Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar also mentioned that some ulama cited it, referring it to Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Others too mention it apart from the two of them, like Al-Imam Ibn al-Battal. They say that the urine of a little young boy is not najasa. But the correct view, inshallah, is that the urine of all human beings, including the little young boy, is also what? Najasa. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, a woman, Qais bintu Mihsan, reported that she came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bibnin laha saghir, with one of her children that was young. This hadith occurs in Sahih Bukhari. She said she came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with her child, small young boy, lam ya'kul ta'am. This boy had never eaten any food. So don't ask, he had never eaten any food. What about the dates, the sweetness of the date that was placed on his lower jaw when he was born? It is not food. Likewise, honey that you might have placed there is not food. What it means is that any other food apart from breast milk. So she said, radiyallahu anha, lam ya'kul at-ta'am. This boy had never eaten any food. Atat bibnin laha sagirin lam ya'kul at-ta'am ila rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She brought the boy to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فأجلسه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم في حجره. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took this boy and placed him to sit on his laps. Alayhi salatu wasalam. فَبَالَ عَلَى ثَوْبِهِ. The boy urinated on the clothes of the Prophet Muhammad. So you hear it, Mr. Sheikh. Some people would want to throw away the little young boy because the boy urinated on their clothes. The messenger did not do that. They urinated on the clothes of the messenger too, alayhi salatu wasalam. Some people don't carry children for that reason. Say, me egomade. Kilo de o want to sing ala. Want to sa nabi na ala alayhi salatu wasalam. Fabala ala thawbihi. The boy urinated on the cloth of the Prophet Muhammad. She said, Fada'a bima'in. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam called for water. فَنَضَحَهُ. He sprinkled it on the urine. وَلَمْ يَغْسِلْهُ. He did not wash it. This is the issue. See, he only sprinkled the water. He did not wash it. This hadith occurs in Sahih Bukhari. Ali radiyallahu anhu also reported from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that he says, Bawlul gulam al-radi' yundah. Bawlul gulam al-radi' yundah. The urine of a boy, gulam radi', a boy that is still suckling. Like she said, lam ya'kul at-ta'am, that had never eaten any food. He said, yundah. The Prophet said it will be sprinkled water. Sprinkle water on it. وَبَوْلُ الْجَارِيَةِ يُغْسَلْ. As for the urine of a little young girl, yughsal. It should be done what? It should be washed. So it is from this that ulama say, for the little young boy, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, yundah, sprinkle water on it. He did not say wash. So he says, they say, these ulama, they say it is the one that he says we should wash that is najasa. If the male urine too is najasa, he would have also said wash too. But he didn't say wash. He said sprinkle. Nabaha. Yumbah. It is water is sprinkled on it. Yurashu alayh. Yusabbu alayhi al-ma. You sprinkle water on it. But regarding the little girl, what did he say? Wash. Yugsal. They say, so that is evidence that the urine of a little young boy, an infant that has not eaten any food since he was born, except breast milk. For those mothers who do exclusive breastfeeding, if they do it and they keep religiously to it, that is 6 months go. So this boy, his own urine could only or should only be cleaned by what? Sprinkling water on it or pouring water on it, not by washing. If it were a girl, from day one, wash. Like you wash for the adults. We'll come back to the hadith on the adults. So that is why those ulama say it means it is not najasa. If it were najasa, it would be washed like the urine of the girl is also washed. One of those who has that opinion was Al-Imam al-Shawkani. But like we say, it is a weak opinion. Why? Al-Imam al-Khattabi explained. Rahimahullah. He says, وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَجْلِ أَنَّ بَوْلَ الْغُلَامِ لَيْسَ بِنَجْسٍ. He said, the messenger saying, alayhi salatu wasalam, that the urine of the boy should be sprinkled water. He says, لَيْسَ ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَجْلِ أَنَّ الْبَوْلَ laysa binajis. It does not mean that that urine is not najasa. It says walakinnahu, but the fact is that min ajli takhfif alladhi waqa'a fi izalatihi. He only made it easier. He only reduced the effort at removing it. It does not mean that it is not a najasa. One of the ulama went to explain. He says, when you pour water on the urine of the little young boy, the water will in the end overpower the urine. And once the water overpowers the urine, it stops becoming a najis. But they say the urine of a little young girl equivalent is hardly overpowered. So in her own case, it should be what? It should be washed. That is the difference. It is not because it is not najasa. It is also najasa. But it's being a najasa can be put out more easily than the urine of a little young girl. The point we are saying is that wabawlul adami also what? Mutlaqun. Likewise, the urine of all human beings, little young boy, little young girl, infant that had eaten, that had not eaten, is also najasa, like the feces of all human beings. And that separation that the Imam meant, that he mentioned in this book we read, yes, some ulama have mentioned it. I used to have this opinion since a long time before now. But it appears that the correct thing, inshallah, is that opinion is weak. The human urine, all of it is najasa, including the little young boy that is still only being exclusively breastfed. His urine is also what? Najasa. And the messenger differentiated between cleaning his own urine and the urine of an infant girl who is also only exclusively breastfeeding, because the najis in his own case will go easily, but in her own case it will not go easily. It will require what? Washing. So regarding him, he says yumdah. Regarding her, he says what? Yugsal. Regarding her, it should be washed, but regarding him, it should only be sprinkled water, but sufficient water should be sprinkled on it. That statement of Al-Imam Al-Khattabi occurs in Awn Al-Ma'bud. It also occurs in Ma'alim Al-Sunan, his Sharh on Sunan Abi Dawud. Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar also mentioned it in Al-Fath. That's also the opinion of Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar, rahimahullah. He chooses that all forms of abwal are najasa, of adami, all bowl, all urine of human beings, young, little, old. Ibn Hajar also holds them to be najasa. And I think that is the correct opinion, inshallah. Added to these are elders. We only mention the urine of children. What about adults? We know our own. We know it is najasa. But we said that knowing that something is najasa is a function of what? Evidence, dalil. So what is the evidence that the urine of adults, like those of children, is also what? Najasa. Tazkur dalilan ya shakir. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We remember we mentioned the hadith of Ibn Abbas, that he passed by a garden in Medina. There are reports that it occurred in Mecca, but the correct thing is that it occurred in Medina. He passed by a garden and people were buried in it. Allah gave him the ability sometimes to see punishments in the grave. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's one of the ways Allah makes him different from the rest of us. Allah makes him see punishments in the grave. So he saw it, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he told the people that the people in these graves were being punished. May Allah protect us. And he says, Amma ahaduhuma fakana la yastatiru min al-bawl. The one of them that is being punished, la yastatiru, la yatanazzahu, la yatawaqqa. All these are alfaz of that hadith. He does not avoid urine. He keeps urine on his body. So that is evidence that urine is what? Najasa. Why? Because this hadith mentions punishment for not removing najasa of urine. It means it is obligatory to do what? To remove it. And we say najasat are those things that are obligatory on us to remove. I hope this point is clear. nǹkan tá a fi máa ń ṣàǹfààní, let's get it. Yorùbá say nǹkan tí àgbàlagbà fi ń jẹ̀kọ, that when the elders eat agidi, they put the sweet part of what they use with it under the. This is the point. Why is urine najasa? This is the evidence. Because keeping urine invites punishment. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, "Aksaru adhabil qabr min al-bawl." Aksaru adhabil qabri min al-bawl. The majority of the punishment in the grave is because of urine not being well handled by the individual. So you see, non-Muslims, they urinate. Half of the urine is on their body, half of the urine is on the clothes, half of the urine is on the ground. It will touch their leg, touch their trouser, then the ground. 3 places share their urine. For the Muslim, no part of your urine should touch your body when you urinate, male or female. And whenever it touches, quickly you remove it. Our deen is clean. Inna Allah tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyib. So that is evidence that urine is najasa. The hadith of Ibn Abbas I read occurs in Sahih Bukhari. And Al-Imam al-Bukhari gave it a chapter heading. It says, Babun min al-kabairi alla yastatira min bawlihi. Min al-kabair alla yastatira min bawlihi. From amongst the major sin is that the individual does not avoid his urine. It's a major sin, kabair. Why did he call it kabair? Because Allah mentioned a punishment regarding it. That the individual is being punished because of it. Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar mentions a fa'ida muhimma regarding this hadith. He says, Fihi tahazir. So this hadith contains warning. Min mulabasatil bawl. It warns us not to allow bawl to touch anything of us, whether your body or your clothes. He will mention it. Min mulabasati, coming in contact with urine. At-tahziru min mulabasatil bawl. This hadith warns against being in contact with what? With urine. Don't forget, we have said all kinds of human beings, little boy, young boy. So ummahat, when your children urinate on your body, don't relax. Quickly go and clean it. Some women keep urine from morning until evening. They say, you are incurring sins. Once your child urinates on your body, it is ibadah that you must remove it what? Immediately. So he says, فِيهِ التَّحْذِيرُ مِنْ مُلَابَسَةِ الْبَوْلِ. This hadith warns against coming in contact with urine. وَيُلْتَحَقُ بِهِ غَيْرُهُ مِنَ النَّجَاسَاتِ. Other najasat also have the same ruling. Meaning, don't say in that hadith it was only urine. Other najasat have the same ruling that when they touch you, you must do what? You must quickly remove it. He says, Fil badani was thawb. Whether the place they came in contact with was the body or your clothes. He says, Rahimahullah, wa yustadallu bihi ala wujubi izalatin najasa. It is also evidence. It is also used to give evidence that it is obligatory to rid our bodies of najasa. It says, khilafan lima khussal wujub biwaqti iradati salah. This contradicts those who restrict removing the najasa to the time of salah. Some people will not remove the najasa immediately. They will say, no, we will remove the najasa at the time of salah. So he will urinate, he will not clean up. He say, when I want to pray, I will clean up. La. You must clean up najasa every time it touches your body. Whether you want to pray at that time or not. Whether you want to make wudu at that time or not. Najasa touches you, remove it. Ibn Hajar says this hadith, rahimahullah, is evidence for it. It occurs in the first volume, page 419 of his book, Al-Fath. There is a second hadith. We'll mention that hadith also. Otherwise, what we have mentioned suffices. We would have moved to another point. But the hadith is very, very beneficial, inshallah. Also regarding najasatul bawl. Regarding the being najasa of the urine of human beings. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam one day was in the masjid. One Arabi, one Muslim, just came into the masjid from the desert, Bedouins. You know, they're a bit coarse. Bedouins. Even those of them that are Muslims, they had very funny events with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they were village people. They lived in remote areas. And that's why he says, alayhi salatu wasalam, Man bada Jaffa. Man bada Jaffa. This hadith is Hassan. Man bada Jaffa. The one who lives in the village, you got here, he will have some coarseness. He says, alayhi salatu wasalam, in another hadith, La taskunil kafur. Kafur. Don't live in the remote areas. He says, فَإِنَّ سَاكِنَ الْكَفُورِ كَسَاكِنِ الْقُبُورِ. Because the one who is living in remote areas is like the one who is living where? In the grave. This hadith occurs in Al-Adab al-Mufrad of Al-Imam al-Bukhari, and it is Sahih. Ulama say the reason why he likened an individual living in remote areas is that he will not be exposed to life. He likened it to life in the grave. So if you are in remote areas, you don't know what is happening in the world, Abi. When you come out and say, are they using this thing you are holding? Is talking to you now, or you are the one talking to it? They say, where are you? You say, I'm in this world. They say, no, you are not. If you are in this world, you will know what this thing I'm holding, what it does. How are you doing it? You are seeing yourself inside or what? So when you give it to him, instead of using this area on his ears, he will turn it behind like this. Why? لأنه ساكن الكفور أو كفور. That's why in Egypt there are places they call kafur. They say kafur sheikh, kafur kaza, kafur. That's village of so. Village of so. So let's avoid living in remote areas where you don't know what's going on in the town. So those people, when they dealt with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are a bit hard with him, alayhi salatu, and he will be soft with him or with them. One day, this hadith also occurs in Al-Adab. The messenger after Iqama, Ikhwa, this Bedouin came, grabbed the clothes of the Prophet and dragged him away in front of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad. You know what he wants? They brought some sadaqah. He said, Muhammad, give me my own, because after Salat now you can share everything. So when the Prophet gave him, he came and said, Allahu Akbar, and continued the Salat. That was how the Arabi were. They were harsh with the Prophet Muhammad. Not because they want to be harsh with him, but because they are not civilized. One day he was making khutbah on the day of Jummah. One of them came and they went, hey, Muhammad, you are making khutbah, eh? When did rain fall last? Everywhere the animals are dying. You are here making khutbah. Be making your khutbah. Oh. This hadith occurs in Sahih Bukhari. From the window on the day of Jummah, like Baba is here giving khutbah, and somebody say, you are making khutbah. Wait there. Everybody will know that this person has come from a remote area. Although some people who live in the town do it too. On the day of Jummah, they will tell me, did they man? Some people make phone calls here in this masjid, I've seen. They behave like people from remote areas. Why? During the khutbah. They don't know that you don't speak when the imam is speaking. It's a sin to speak. It's even a sin to tell somebody who is speaking to keep quiet. So when you see somebody speaking, even if you are the one he's talking to, you'll be looking at the imam as if you didn't see. The point is, the Arabs, the Arabi, they had issues. Al-Arab, each of them is referred to as Arabi. Al-Arab, they had issues with the messenger because they were a bit coarse. One day, this hadith occurs in Riyadh al-Salihin. One of them said to the Prophet Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Prophet said, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi. Shaykh Ibn al-Uthaymin, rahimahullah. He said the Prophet answered him the way he understands that people greet somebody. Somebody's in front of you, you are shouting, Assalamu alaikum. The other one say, Wa alaikum salam. Aroko. So one day, one of them came into the masjid of the Prophet Muhammad. فَبَالَ فِي قِطْعَةٍ مِّنَ الْمَسْجِدِ. He urinated in a part of the masjid. Urine inside masjid. You see now? Where has he come from? If you were one of the companions with him, learning with him, sitting with him, hearing sermons, he would have been civilized too, like them. But he didn't know that it is wrong regarding this matter. He didn't know. Radiyallahu anhu, because he's a companion of the Prophet Muhammad. And he's better than all of us in the sight of Allah. Why? Lifadli suhbah. Because of the virtue that is connected to being a companion of the Prophet Muhammad. So he urinated in the masjid, radiyallahu anhu. And then the rest of the companions, zajaru. Hey, stop! In some riwayah they say, ma, hey, hey. Al-Imam al-Bukhari in his riwayah says, فَتَنَاوَلَهُ النَّاسِ. People began to pay attention to him, attacking him, stop that. فَقَالَ لَهُمُ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ دَعُوهُ. Leave him alone. The Prophet Muhammad said, leave the man alone. Let him finish his urine. Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he said, why did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ask them to leave the man urinating in the masjid alone? If it were we, what will we do? If we were the ones in the masjid. Say munkesheshi, as they say. I won't translate that one. But I'm sure the person may not go out of the masjid alive. This is sunnah now we want to say. If the Prophet was the one, this is what he did, alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, da'u, leave him alone. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, the first point of reference, he says, the companions all paying attention to this man and preventing him talking means that they understand that Bawlul Adami is najasa. That is what we first need in that hadith. That the rest of the companions didn't wait. Allah had warned them, La tuqaddimu bayna yaday Allahi wa rasul. The messenger was there. They didn't wait for him to give them order. They were to stop that, stop that. Why? Because they already were aware that Bawlul Adami is what? Najasa. The second reason, Ibn Hajar said, the reason why the Prophet left him to finish his urine was, if the man was prevented from that urine, he may continue the urine on his body, or he may take it to another part of the masjid. So instead of cleaning one place, they now need to clean places in the masjid. So he told him, stay, go, continue there. Just stay there, don't move away. Because every time, hey, stop, move away. He said, here it's not good, so he moves to the other hand. He said, okay, here it's not good, he comes here and makes the urine. So their place is small, okay, I make it here. So he said, leave him, let him finish the urine. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he ordered the people, alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, wa ahariku ala bawlihi. Hariku in some riwayat. It says, hariku or ahariku ala bawlihi sajlan mimma. Go and bring the well bucket. Fill it with water. Come and pour on it. The Prophet said so, alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, فَإِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُمْ مُيَسَّرِينَ. Because you, my ummah, you have been made what? You have been raised as muyassarin, those who will make things easy for people. وَلَمْ تُبْعَثُوا مُعَسِّرِينَ. You have not been raised as people who will make things difficult for people. You have not been raised as people who will make things mu'assirin, difficult. Bu'istum muyassirin. You have been raised as people who will make things what? Easy for the people. So don't harass the man. Just bring water and pour it on it. So lots of water were poured on the urine. You know, when the water is poured in large quantity like that, what will happen? It will consume the najasa. It will consume its being a najasa. So ahariku or hariku alayma, clean it, pour water on it, it's evident that that urine is also what? Najasa. Because the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam ordered them to pour the water on it. But he did not leave the man to go. He did not allow him go. He said alayhi salatu wasalam to the man privately, says, Inna hazihil masajid, these mosques, awa masasi, these mosques, alayhi salatu wasalam, la tasluhu li shay'in min hadha al-bawl. It is not proper for any of urine to come into them. These mosques you see, after allowing him finish, the man will listen naturally, my dear brothers. In some riwayah, the man said, he didn't even abuse me. Meaning that perhaps he thought he should have been abused. Say he didn't even abuse me. Ma shatamani. Alayhi salatu wasalam. He didn't abuse me. Just come. You see this masjid, they don't urinate here in case of another time. He says, Walal qazra. Likewise, ga'it. Dirt, filth, don't bring it here. Innama hiya li dhikrillahi ta'ala. The mosque is for what? Remembrance of Allah. Was salat. And for salah. Wa qira'atul Qur'an. And reading of the Quran. This ziyada occurs in Sahih Muslim. But the first part of the hadith occurs in Sahih Bukhari. So, what do we need from this hadith? Two things. First, the companions condemned it while the Prophet was there, alayhi salatu. Meaning that they already understood that bowl is what? Najasa. The second area of evidence for us on our discussion is that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ordered that the place be poured a lot of water. That suffices. I think we made our point that bawlul adami is najasa. So the Sheikh said, we return to our book. It says, one najasat, the things that the Sharia rule to be najasa. Here, gha'itul insan. The first of them is the physics of human beings. Mutlaqan, generally speaking. All forms of human physics are najasat. Wa bawluhu, and human urine, illa dhakar al-radi', except the infant that is still only breastfed. But we explained that that position is a weak opinion. The correct opinion is that both the little young boy infant that is still only exclusively breastfed and adults, all human beings, their urine is what? Najasa. The third point he mentioned, lu'abu kalbin. Lu'abu kalbi. Lu'abul kalb. Lu'ab is the spit. Lu'ab, the spit that comes out from the dog. Lu'abu kalbi. The author of the book Al-Mawsu'atul Fiqhiyah, Shaykh Hussein Al-Awaish, he says kalb is a weak opinion too. It is not the entirety of a dog that is najasa. It is only the droppings from the mouth of a dog that is najasa. But the other parts of the dog, there is no proof that it is najasa. Al-Imam al-Shafi'i and some in his madhab say no. The mouth of the animal is about the most honored part of it. If there is death going to any part, the individual will avoid the mouth. So if the mouth is mentioned to be najasa, then by deductive reasoning, other parts of the body should be najasa. So that is the reason why some ulama say the entirety of the dog is najasa. But others amongst the ulama say no. It is not the entirety of the dog that is najasa. Why? Because in the Quran in Al-Ma'idah, Allah told us, وَمَا عَلَّمْتُم مِّنَ الْجَوَارِحِ مُكَلِّبِينَ تُعَلِّمُونَهُنَّ مِمَّا عَلَّمَكُمُ اللَّهُ يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا أُحِلَّ لَهُمْ قُلْ أُحِلَّ لَكُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. Now, وَمَا عَلَّمْتُم مِّنَ الْجَوَارِحِ, Allah told us that one of the food that is allowed for us is مَا عَلَّمْتُم مِّنَ الْجَوَارِحِ مُكَلِّبِينَ. Those animals, your dogs, that you train them and then you send them to hunt for you. Ulama say, how do you train a dog without touching a dog? If the entirety of a dog is najasa, you know it will be prohibited to touch a dog. But in this verse, Allah is telling us that the dog you trained, it catches a hunt for you, an animal for you in the bush, you should eat it. You should not also eat the animal that it catches. They say, so don't make qiyas with that. Stop where the text has stopped. Al-Imam al-Bukhari mu'allaqan in his Sahih, he mentioned a hadith from Abdullah ibn Umar. He said, I used to sleep in the masjid. I was a little young boy. Dogs used to pass in the masjid at that time. He said nobody went around to start pouring water on the ground by way of cleaning that water or cleaning the najasa of a dog that just passed within the masjid. So if the dog came into a masjid, yes, in the time of the messenger, the hadith occurs in Sahih Bukhari. Mu'allaqan. It is the hadith of Ibn Umar. So I used to sleep in the masjid, dog will go like this, come. They were not pursuing the dog so as to pour water on the ground. Because it would have been najasa in the masjid, that would have required it to be cleaned. So the body of a dog, ala sahih, is not najasa. The body of the dog is not najasa. Al-Imam Ibn Abdul Hadi, in his book Al-Ishraf ala Nukati Masail al-Khilaf, he said if a dog puts his hand into the water, he said just remove the hand and make wudu with it. It is not najasa. What the Sharia mentions to be najasa is what? Lu'abul kalb. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in an hadith that Al-Imam Bukhari collected, but most of those who mention the hadith rather refer to the riwayah of Al-Imam Muslim and others. Like Al-Hafiz in Bulugh al-Maram, he only mentioned it to have been reported by Imam Muslim. But the meaning of that hadith occurs in Sahih Bukhari. So we'll read the riwayah of Al-Imam al-Bukhari. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, إِذَا شَرِبَ الْكَلْبُ فِي إِنَاءِ أَحَدِكُمْ إِذَا شَرِبَ الْكَلْبُ فِي إِنَاءِ أَحَدِكُمْ. If the dog drinks, in other riwayah it says walagal kalb. This is what we are used to call wulugul kalb. Is walagal kalb. Walaga means that it dips its tongue in the bowl, summa harrakaha, and then it moves it. Harrakahu. It dips the tongue and then moves it. Walagal kalb. And that is how the dog drinks. The dog does not drink as we drink. They lick. So ulama say if it is a liquid, we say walaga al-kalbu. But if it is solid, we say la'iq al-kalb. So we use lick for solids because it will wipe its tongue against the solid. But if it were a liquid, it will dip it in it and then do what? Move it. By that it has drank it. So both riwayahs don't have problems. Some people think walaga contradicts shariba, but they have the same meaning because that is how its own shurub is. That is how it drinks. So this riwayah is sahiha. It was reported by Imam Malik wa an tariqihi al-Bukhari rahimahullah. So إِذَا شَرِبَ الْكَلْبُ فِي إِنَاءِ أَحَدِكُمْ. When the dog dips its tongue and moves it in the container of any of you, فَلْيَغْسِلْهُ. This is our point. فَلْيَغْسِلْهُ. Let him therefore wash it. What does that mean? It means that wulug is what? Najasa. It says فَلْيَغْسِلْهُ سَبْعًا. Let him wash it 7 times. In the very popular riwayah we know from Tirmidhi and Muslim, others, it says يُغْسَلُ الْإِنَاءِ إِذَا وَلَغَ الْكَلْبُ إِذَا وَلَغَ فِيهِ الْكَلْبُ 7 مرات. يُغْسَلُ الْإِنَاءِ. The container will be washed. It's your hadith, one of you. You or you? This is your hadith. It says, يُغْسَلُ الْإِنَاء. The container must be washed. إِذَا وَلَغَ الْكَلْبُ. When the dog leaks from the water, سَبْعَ مَرَّاتٍ. It should be washed 7 times. أُولَاهُنَّ. In some riwayah, the first of these 7. In some riwayat, أُخْرَاهُنَّ. The last. In some riwayat, it says, إِحْدَاهُنَّ. One of them. بِالتُّرَابِ. Should be with the sand. So when the dog leaks from our bowl, we should throw the water in the container away and wash the container 7 times. Ulahunna biturab. The first of it using sand. Or ukhrahunna biturab. Or the last of them using the sand. Or ihdahunna biturab. One of it with the sand. Al-Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, he says it is anyone, but not the last. Avoid the last. He said because if you use the sand, the last washing, you need to wash it again. He says so because it says ihdahunna, anyone. He says so when it says ulahunna, it's only showing that it can be the first one. And when it says ukhrahunna, it can also be the last one, but it should be ihdahunna, one of the 7. Ibn Hajar said the opposite, rahimahullah. He says it should be ulahunna biturab or ukhrahunna biturab and not any other. He said because ihdahunna is general, mutlaq. And he says ihdahunna and ukhrahunna is muqayyad. He says so we can take the 2 muqayyadan or muqayyidan, the 2 of them, and leave the general, because it has now specified first or second, first or last. The majority of the ulama say the correct thing is the first. Why? Because the riwayah of ulahunna is arjah, is stronger. It is reported by many more reporters. Arjahiyya, weightiness, preponderance is for the riwayah of what? Ulahun. Al-Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, he says that also conforms with reality. He said because when you wash it the first time, you can wash it with water again and again and again without using the sand again. In the class when I said and the 8th time, some of my brothers frowned. The riwayah occurs in Sahih Muslim. The 8th riwayah. And Imam Muslim collected that the Messenger said alayhi salatu wassalam, وَعَفِّرُوهُ الثَّامِنَةَ فِي التُّرَابِ. وَعَفِّرُوهُ الثَّامِنَةَ. The 8th time, wash it in the sand. And Imam al-Nawawi, however, explained it. He says what it means is that it is still ukhrahunna, but he just mentioned that sand as if it's something different on its own. So you use water 7 times, and one of the times you use sand. So he mentioned sand for you not to forget that there must be sand though. He said otherwise it is still 7. With 7 times with water and once with so that is how many times? As if to say 8. So, but the correct thing is wash it ulahunna, the first time with the sand. Don't wash it with soap. Wash it with sand. Biturab, and then the rest of the times with what? With water. So they say you mix the sand with the water in the first one. You make the water to override it. You wash it. You rinse it with it, and then you expel it with the rest of it. That is for the Muslim that is keeping a dog as a hunter. Because it is prohibited for a Muslim to keep a pet dog. A pet dog can easily go to your kitchen and then you start looking for sand. Don't keep a pet dog. He says alayhi salatu wassalam, لَوْلَا أَنَّ الْكِلَابَ أُمَّةٌ لَأَمَرْتُكُمْ بِقَتْلِهَا. If not that the dogs were an ummah, I would have told you that anywhere you see a dog, kill it. And there is hadith also, I think in Sahih Muslim, when he says alayhi salatu wasalam, that the one who keeps a dog, his reward from his ibadat, like the mountain of Uhud, go away every day. 1 karat. He loses 1 karat of his rewards every day for keeping a dog. Except that there is rukhsah for the dogs, guide dogs and hunt dogs. So guide dogs will be at the gate, not inside your room. At the gate, it's allowed. Or you are a hunter. You train a dog, you have a place to keep it. When you go for your hunting, you take them for your hunting. You don't keep pet dogs. It's prohibited for a Muslim, haram, to keep a pet dog. So that is lu'abu kalb. What comes out from the mouth of a dog is also what? Najasa. The spit of a dog is najasa. Don't forget, the rest body of the dog is not najasa. Because its mouth is najasa, so the other parts of his body must be najasa. Ulama say no. And they mention the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar, that when he was young, radiyallahu anhuma, dogs used to pass through the masjid of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, and they did not use to pour water on it by way of washing the dog's feet, if those dogs were, as if those dogs were najasat, but they were not. He is saying this is not najasa. In fact, there's riwayah that they used to urinate in some places in the masajid. But ulama say no, it is outside the masajid. When they pass, they urinate outside. That is evidence that or those masajid are not like our own, like this. You put mabu, put rug, put this, put everything. That's why we don't want to pray with our shoes again. Praying with the shoes is one of the sunnah, but we don't do it again. It's one of the sunanul mahjura al-an. Sunanul mahjura, one of it is that we don't pray in our shoes again. So when we see somebody doing it now, it is strange. You pray in shoes? It is one of the ways the Prophet ﷺ told us to be different from the Jews and the Christians. Wearing shoes. During Salah. Don't wear it in Oshobo. And then they ask you, say it is Abu Naasir that says now, we must be practicing this sunnah now. But when people are educated, when education becomes spread, if somebody sees you doing it, he will not be surprised. And the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, when you want to come into the masjid, if you are wearing your shoes, say, look at the back. فَلِيُقَلِّبْهُ. Look at the back of your shoes. In kana fihi adhan, if there is any filth in it, say, rub it on the ground. It says, فَالتُّرَابُ لَهُ طَهُورٌ. Rub it on the ground. When it is clean, come into the masjid. Not that you go and start washing it. Say, rub it on the ground. So when you come into, you look, nothing. You rub it on the ground. Come into the masjid. It's allowed in the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, the person who brought Islam. And he says, Khaliful Yahud, be different from the Jews and the Christians. You know why? They, in those days, during the time of the messenger, they removed their own shoes and come into worship places. Prophet said, wear your own into the mosque. Be different. But today it is vice versa. May Allah protect us. So, but these things, like I've always repeated, nothing will change it except education. Do it and educate others. Do it and educate others. And I like to say, if you don't know something, ask. Don't confront first. If you see somebody doing something strange, ask him. Somebody, we went with a brother once, it's been long, 5-6 years ago. We went to the National Mosque in Abuja to do something else somewhere, but we got delayed, so we had to pray Salatul Jummah. We were rushing to the National Mosque. We were only able to pray at the junction that goes to NNPC, you know, if you know that area. So I did not remove my shoes. I was wearing a shoe and jalabia. As we made taslim, a brother was running. I saw him, but I didn't know he was coming to me. I said, brother, please, salam alaikum. I've been watching you since the salah. Are you a Shia? So I'm not. Because in their thinking, anybody who does something strange is Shia. So he said, why did you pray with your shoes? I said, the Prophet Muhammad, he used to pray with his shoes. So if I can't pray with my shoes inside the mosque, now that I am praying outside the mosque, I should pray with the shoes. He just embraced me. Say, I've never heard this hadith before. I say, it occurs in Bukhari and other books of hadith. He said, you make more research. But when you oppose, that is al-jahrul murakkab. Before it's jahlul basit, I don't know. But don't make it murakkab by opposing. Ask. That is what Allah told us to do if we don't know. Is it not? He didn't say fight, punish, abuse, oppose. No, don't oppose. Ask him, my brother, please, why did you do this? There are many examples of this, so we'll not go to that. Don't fight somebody upon something you don't know. If he says something strange, ask him. It's tafsiruhu. Especially if you know he's somebody that is not likely to do that thing without seeing something. Ask him, you will benefit. The ulama always say, La taf'alu kama yaf'alu al-faqir. Salhu yusaddikuka. Don't do anything you see one afar do it. No. Ask him, Ustaz, why did you do this? He will tell you. Because he may be doing something out of particular knowledge because he is in a particular condition. You say, I saw Ustaz Lagbaja to do something. Ask him, why did you do it before you do it? So that you not have been guilty of blind following. Blind following is a disease. And you are the criminal in the illness of blind following, not him. So free yourself of that criminality by asking him, excuse me, you did so, why did you do it? He will explain to you, inshallah. So, النجاسات هي غاية الإنسان مطلقا كو وبوله إلا الذكر الرضيع ولعاب كلب وروث. Roth is the, I think we should stop here. We'd far spent the time. We should stop here. We defined an-najasat, that najasat are those things yajibu ala al-muslim an yatanazzaha anha. It is obligatory for the Muslim to go away from it. And we said najasat is the plural of the word najasa. And that this fasl is faslu anwa'in najasat. And that an-najasat, when he repeated it the second time, he meant ma dalla ad-dalil ash-shar'i ala najasatihi hiya, those things that the Sharia clearly shows that they are najasa are the following. The first thing he mentioned is what? Gha'itul insan, Gha'itul adam, human physics. And it says all forms of human physics are najasa. The second one is bawlul insan, human urine. But he gave an exception for the urine of an infant that is still exclusively breastfed. And we explained that that position is a weaker position. We explained from where they are coming from and why it is not as they think. And that the ruling here is that the entirety of the urine of all human beings are what? Najasa. Illa dhakara radi. We explained. Wa lu'abu kalbin. We said that lu'ab is what is najasa. What comes out. The spittle of dogs is the najasa and not the entirety of the dog itself. So when you see kalbun, it's an error. What is correct is lu'abu kalb or lu'abul kalb, the spittle of dogs. I think we should stop there. We have Rawth, Damul Haid, but we should stop here because our time is far spent. Our tradition is to spend 1 hour, but I think we've far gone beyond that. May Allah forgive us. I think we should stop here, inshallah. If we have few questions to ask, inshallah. Alaykum salam nas. Amin wa antum.
When you are discussing about the issue of concerning the billion that comes, you mentioned some of this, that is actually preventing us from living in the remote area of village. So, but I want to ask, if somebody said, because of the nature of the city now, that a lot of indecency are there, one just want to run away for sin, so that will not be seen anything anymore.
Yes, there is hadith like that.
One now say, if you go to the village and like to be full, or rather than to be seen. So, can one say that out of...
He's saying, can an individual go now and start living in the villages? No, now. But it will happen in the end of time. There is hadith in Sahih Bukhari, wherein the Prophet mentioned, alayhi salatu wasalam, that at the end of time, the most valuable thing to a Muslim will be to go and live in the hills and abandon the people of the city. Why? Because almost everybody will be people of filth and indecency. So he would not like to stay amongst them at all. But here now, you have in the towns people you can stay with that are people of Iman. In fact, now it is in the remote areas you don't find anybody that can make deen with you. I don't know any village where you can find people, large quantities sitting down hearing, So the ruling has not gotten to that stage. You can still find people in towns, even in big towns of the world, in New York, in Riyadh, Riyadh has about the largest number of scholars in Saudi Arabia. If not, the eldest are there. Sheikh Saleh Fawzan is there. Many of them, the big ulama in Riyadh, and that is the capital of the city. So, at this time, I think we are still far away from an individual going to exile in a village to say, oh, everybody is bad now. So we should rather come to the cities so that we can carry along with the rest of our brothers who are Muslims. Allahu Alam.
The second question.
Okay.
Concerning the split of the dog.
Okay.
Now, you said that it's not all the part of the dog that is actually
najis.
But in some situation that probably one is using the dog for hunt, how can one detect that dog has not touched the animal with the spit, and since that one is najis?
The ulama say when Allah allows us to eat what the dog catches, the dog will not catch an animal with his hand. It will catch it with its mouth and bring it to us. And the Sharia allows it. It means that is an exception from that rule. And that is evidence that not all the part, if even the mouth has an exception, then the rest of the body should not be given the ruling of the mouth. And it does not say if it catches an animal, cut off that part. It didn't say that. You will cook your animal normally as you cook it, without even considering the fact that the dog had touched it with its mouth. And if you look at this issue again from another angle, it appears that the dog does not actually expectorate when it is holding something. Does it? When it wants to lick and expectorate, it will really stretch down its tongue, and then the saliva glands will begin to exhume the saliva. I thought of this before long ago. I think people should look at that for us. That's why the Sharia has allowed us in those circumstances. Allahu Alam. But there is that exemption that when it catches an animal, eat it. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا أُحِلَّ لَكَ. They will ask you, what is halal for you? So it is one of the things that is a halal for us to eat. So we just remain within the text that if it were that it puts its mouth, the same tongue. That's why when you now use a dog for hunting and you train the dog, it will not put its mouth in your container that you are using for wudu or for food. Because it's a trained dog. Allah told you to train the dog. Allahu Alam. Alaykum salam. One. On Salah, we want najasat. It's not as if we don't want to answer the question, but it will take us away from where we are.
The question is, they imply that when an imam is praying, you garnish, is it compulsory on the imam?
إنما جعل الإمام ليؤتم به. He explained the hadith. عليه الصلاة. It says فإذا كبر فكبروا وإذا قال سمع الله لمن حمده فقولوا ربنا ولك الحمد وإذا ركع فاركعوا, and all them. وإذا سجد فاسجدوا. So all those things are tafsir for that first statement. They explain that first statement. It doesn't say if he's wearing jalabia, wear jalabia. If he's wearing a cap, wear a cap. Because those things do not in themselves have to do with the salah. Because whether you are wearing jalabia or wearing, that is not what he came to lead you in. He came to lead you in the actions of salah. So the hadith itself explains it, because what comes after it are all issues of salah. The actions that are connected to salah in itself. The shoes are only secondarily connected to salah. Likewise, our cap. He didn't say if he's wearing a cap, you must wear. If he's tying a turban, you must tie. That is the fiqh who you are thinking. It is not like that, inshallah. Allahu Alam. Aminu Antum, Abu Jafar.
My question is the first point of non-shak. What he said, considering Lu'abu Kalb, so it's mixed with the quantity of water.
If Lu'abu Kalb mixes with another water, because we now understand that Lu'abu Kalb, the same thing. Lu'abu Kalb, if it becomes so much, if it's possible to be collected, or that, because if the dog dips its mouth in a huge quantity of water, you throw it away. That's your container. You have a basin, and the dog comes, lap, 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 lap. You throw the ahariku. It's another riwayah in Sahih Muslim. Say, pour the water away, and then wash it. So there I will not be waiting for, because we have a text that makes us understand that we will not wait that the spit, which you may not even be able to see, has overpowered the water. So he told us to throw the entirety of the water away and then wash the container seven times while washing the first time with the sand. So the rest of the washing will be with ordinary water. We explained it, don't forget. Amin. Alaykum salam. If the individual's body touches the najasa and it is time for salah, he cannot find water, let him start salah if he cannot find water. Except if it is the kind of najis that can be removed by any other thing. Like a splash of urine. If it's possible to scratch it on a wall or a ground, that it can go off, you are certain that it has gone off, it is allowed. Because one of the things about cleaning of najasat is that hatta la yabqa laha asar, until it will not have any aspect of it on your body. So if it's a splash on the body and it can be cleaned, rubbing it off with something, you are sure that it will be cleaned, and that thing is dry and not water, it is allowed. That is the fiqh of istijmar, using stones to clean, or using toilet papers. Some people, after using toilet papers, they use water again. Ulama say they don't have a proof that the toilet paper is sufficient as long as it cleanses it. So you either use water or use the toilet paper. Choose one. But water is best, because Allah praised those who make istinja with water. Those are the mutatahhirun, the people of Kuba. It's part of their fadail. Allah mentioned in At-Tawbah. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, he asked the messenger, why did Allah mention that? He said, because when they make tahara, they use water for cleaning the feces and the urine instead of any other thing. Even though those things are allowed, they prefer to use water. Alaykum salam.
Sometimes without water, if you open it,
it will be
for a longer time.
The cloudness are bubbles, small bubbles. Once you just go on with it, there is nothing. It's not an addition. It has not come from outside. That is the way that water has come from its source. Even if it appears greenish sometimes, that is the way that water has come from its source. Alaykum salam. When you have
a baby, is the day you have something
tahniq.
But somebody say it's only exclusively for
Ulama say that don't make tahniq. You know, when they have, this woman said she took her son to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of those who said that she took the boy for tahniq was Al-Hafiz. That she took the boy for tahniq. The Prophet ﷺ would choose some dates, and when the sweetness of the dates comes in his mouth, he uses the tongue to place it on the hank. That is why it is called tahniq. The hank is the lower jaw, inside it. So he places it there for the child. That thing is called tahniq. So people do that a lot. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when they have a baby, they took it to him. When they have a baby, they took it to him. Ulama say, after the Prophet ﷺ, it did not used to be done for Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Omar. So they take ruling from that is for the Prophet alone. Others say no. Since it is established as a sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it's for everybody. Anybody can do it. Father can do it for his own child. Any other person can do it for any other person. I don't know what is the most correct thing. The reason is, ulama say yurafu takhsis bid-dalil. If you want to restrict something to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you must bring a proof that shows that it was for him alone. So, but on the other hand, if they say these things were not done by some people, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar, there is no evidence for it, that they did it. The others will say, no, yes, even though there is no evidence for it, but the Prophet did it. Alayhi salatu wasalam. And the sunnah is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. That we didn't find proof to say some people did it does not mean we cannot do it. But the issue is, I don't know those pious people now that you want to take it to on the other hand. They say ulama and pious people, where are they? Where are those ulama and pious people you take the child to? That is the issue. Allahu Alam. Alaykum salam. Okay. Wait, just a moment. This brother mentioned he had 2 questions, Abi. You mentioned 2 questions? The second one, please. Okay. Now, sorry, it got off my mind. On dogs. If they are hunt dogs or guide dogs. If they are hunt dog or guide dogs. Likewise, training. Those who train hunting dogs or guide dogs. Because the results of that work is encouraged and allowed in the Sharia. That work too will be allowed. The use of trained dogs is encouraged in the Sharia. So it means the Sharia will not prevent an individual for training dogs. Do you understand?
But there are some occasions whereby people have dual purpose. Now in these days, most people that keep dogs, they have dual interests.
Islam says don't keep dual interests. If you keep dual interest, let the two be that dog is your guide dog and at the same time it's your hunt dog. Any other thing is not allowed. So if you know that a person uses it for a purpose other than these two, don't train that person's dog for him. Allahu Alam. Alaykum salam. Concerning black dogs. Ulama say they are jinns. Dogs that are entirely dark, black, without any other color. Ulama, the person who said that was Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. He said the same thing regarding horses and cats. He said they are jinns. Allahu Akbar. Alayhi salatu wasalam. To kill black dogs? I don't know. Black. I don't know. Perhaps he wants to mention those 5 things that he mentioned in Al-Bukhari that we could kill fil hil wal haram. Those 5 things that we could kill when we are in the state of ihram or outside ihram. Al-fuwaisiqat. Is that? Maybe that's what you mean. By black dogs, I don't know. But that's why he mentioned al-kalbul ar. A dog that goes wild. It's allowed for a Muslim to kill it. And then he mentioned 4 other things that are not coming to my mind now. The hadith is in Bukhari. 5 things we could kill when in ihram or outside ihram. Maybe that's what you mean. Al-aqrab, that is the scorpion. I think there's a snake there too. There are 5 of them. Now, mention the question. Khalas. If that is what will not bring you a problem, do that. But I don't know the hadith you are talking about. I don't know. Allahu alam. We'll make this our last question, inshallah. Please, in the case a dog, the spit of a dog or tongue of the dog comes in contact with the individual, the cloth of an individual or the body, what should he do? The individual should just wash it away, lu'ab. If the dog brings his mouth and then licks your clothes, just wash it off. Just wash it off. It suffices, inshallah. Allahu Akbar. Because lu'abul kalb is najis. And one of the ways of making izalatun najasa is what? Al-ghasl.